Give us 60 minutes and we'll give you Nelson Radio every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. on KTLK AM 1150. With 29 years in the mortgage business and an array of top-level guests visiting the show, Nelson is in a unique position to bring you cutting-edge information on real estate, business, finance, and law. If you have any questions for Nelson or any of his guests, give him a call at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or check him out online at nelsonradio.com.
Nelson Radio. Welcome to Nelson Radio right here on KTLK AM 1150. And I'm back with my favorite. I've announced you as my favorite, Beth Stein from Coldwell Banker.
Hi, Rob.
And Beth, I have to share with you, Beth got a phone call just not even a couple hours ago saying, hey, Beth, we're meeting at the studios, right?
That's right.
And there was that long pause.
And I went, oh, God, Rob.
I could hear the deer in headlights look across your face. It wasn't on your calendar, and yet
Totally.
Here you are.
Yeah, because you know what? For you, I'd do it. I am missing a very important part of my life. I'm missing my manicure.
No, well, geez.
That's a big deal.
We'll work on your nails during the show.
You can't film my hands.
Hey, this segment is brought to you by OC Wills and Trust. You can contact us during our show at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or you have to click through at nelsonradio.com. We've been promoting our e-guide, 8 buyer mistakes, 8 constant, consistent foibles that buyers make out there. And all it does is create havoc, create traffic, create delays, and sometimes cost transactions.
Cost transactions, cause frustration, make for angry sellers, angry buyers. They take it all out on, their poor agents who are just really just like, in ancient Rome, they used to hang the bearer of bad news. Agents are those bearers of good or bad news. They're just the person in the middle just relaying the information, and it can be really tough.
We want less agents hanging around the Southland. 8 buyer mistakes that you can avoid that'll cause less hanging. And so street noise, we're gonna tap into a couple of things. But before I do, last week we were looking at risk versus reward. And this week I had to theme the show about being positive and being selfless. And the story that broke through Coach's Corner last week was about Will Schmidt, who's out on his paddleboard as we speak. We're going to try and connect with him in studio, but he's on his paddleboard, stand-up paddleboard, 320-mile open ocean trek, touching all 8 Channel Islands, and out there in the freighter lanes, the currents, who knows what's underneath them, and doing this all to draw attention to the wounded warrior, and specifically the post-traumatic stress disorder, that hidden evil that comes home with so many of our service people. And it lurks in the shadows. It rears its head. It's so many naively think that our military are returning to civilian life and just plugging back in.
Right.
There's my wife. There's my family. There's my new job or new career, and the atrocities that they've seen, the tragedies, and it just doesn't go away just by the fact that they're back on U.S. soil.
I know, and those traumas affect everybody. You have to, that whole thing, that somebody coming back into your life who means so much, your spouse, your life, but they come back in and they've been away, and just reintegrating back into home life, civilization, city life, work, every day.
What seems every day.
What should be every day is so difficult.
And Will specifically has battled with post-traumatic stress disorder and grew to a point where not so long ago he was very close to taking his own life. Had the bottle of pills and the bottle of whiskey left and right hand, and was at that decision-making point. And something intervened, and now he's not only rehabilitated himself emotionally and mentally, but now on the other side of that, creating awareness and cause. And so we want to check in on how he's doing as he's out in the middle of our Pacific Ocean.
What a great and brave thing. And, let's talk about sharks, shall we?
Well, speaking of OC Wills and Trust attorneys down in Orange County, we've got the senior partner, Brian Chu, with us on the phone. Are you with us, Brian?
Hey, Brian Nelson. Hi, Beth. How are you doing?
Good, Brian. How are you?
Great.
Hey, Brian, as we've talked about the Wounded Warrior Project and Will Schmidt's effort, you do a lot for the military in your estate planning, don't you?
Yeah, we work with a lot of veterans and their families to help qualify their parents or their spouses for long-term care benefits through the VA.
And is this an area that some veterans, some military personnel overlook?
Quite a few, especially the surviving spouses of our are veterans that are completely unaware that such a benefit exists to help pay for their long-term care, whether it be assisted living, in-home care, or nursing home. The VA can provide anywhere from $1,100 to $2,000 tax-free each month to help reimburse them for their care costs.
Yeah, and I think it's a valuable service. And Brian Chu from O.C. Wills and Trust, one of the prominent professionals in our private affinity network, that does what, Beth? Does what he says he's going to do. He says he's going to do, and it's just there's so many professionals in our marketplace that are all storefront, no back of house. We've assembled our group of affinity professional partners, and Brian leads the charge on just being diligent, thorough, and providing great counsel. Thanks for being with us, Brian.
All right, thank you.
We're in our Street Noise segment. I want to jump from Brian Chu over to Alexander Villa. And Alexander with Century 21 out in the Glendora and Claremont areas. How you doing?
Great, Coach. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, everybody is going to recognize the 57 freeway closed. You're sitting on it. I think you just pulled over and had a couple of choice descriptive words about your driving experience today.
All I know is we pay a lot of tax at the gas pump, and I just want to know where any of it goes. Not some of it, any of it.
Any of it. Hey, just a quick question. We've been looking at this show, thinking about the positive and selfless acts that are out there. And in your marketplace, I know you're involved with some things in your marketplace and things that you do in the community. Give us a quick snapshot of, really how you help others.
I long to help new buyers, young families. That's really what it's all about. When you look at the long-term health of a community, health of a neighborhood, you want to do what you can to get young people, get the neighborhood turned over with kids in there and such, still the local elementary schools. And it's been really tough the last couple of years doing that. I really look forward to that opportunity, and now that the market is turning in that direction, I'm looking forward to using a lot of those FHA VA loans to get some of those young buyers in there.
And that's a big point, because really the young buyer has been left on the sidelines as we've gone through the mortgage meltdown and the Great Recession. And it's a situation where they need to enter the market. They're the ones that are buying their entry-level properties and pushing people to their necks.
That's right. They're kickstarting everything. And it was sort of a very ginger little walk for a lot of those first-time buyers, because it's incredibly difficult to get qualified for a loan. And then they all of a sudden have missed the bottom of the marketplace. And those are the people that really, when you have first-time buyers, that gives those move-up buyers the ability to move up, and then we get people up in all kinds of price points. But if we don't have those first-time buyers stepping in, and then we had problems with inventory. So now we finally have the builders coming back in, and things are happening.
Yeah, and Alexander,
I would actually make the argument that the market needs them more than they even need the house or the market. The long-term health, the long-term viability, and quality of our neighborhoods and quality of life here in Southern California depends on those young families and the community they create and the future they bring to the neighborhood. They are the future. They talk about the kids being the future of our society. Well, the young families are the futures of our neighborhoods.
Here, you're absolutely correct. I agree.
Appreciate the efforts. Thanks for being with us, Alexander. Alexander Villa from Century 21 Masters, and focused where he needed to be focused on our home buyers coming up.
That's right.
We're going to be with Len Herman and Scott White coming up. Really interesting duo down in Orange County. Team with Keller Williams and Len leading the legislative charge of OCAR, the Orange County Association of Realtors. I want you to stay with us. We're focusing on the positive. Selfless acts out there. You can reach us direct, 888-2136, or click through at nelsonradio.com. Pick up our e-guide, The 8 Buyers' Mistakes. It'll help you in your home purchase. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Nelson Radio. This segment brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Nelson is a licensed lender under the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 331060.
This is Nelson from Nelson Radio, and it's important that we talk about a very serious issue. We had bad lending practices that led to the mortgage meltdown, but now we've got the challenge of deplorable customer service coming out of the meltdown. Bottom line, getting a new loan can be like pulling teeth without Novocaine. I've got the solution. Academy Mortgage and my team are injecting into the industry real performance and real accountability. Here are the facts. Appraisals in less than a week. Rate guarantees that can improve if the market goes down. purchase transactions with our market-exclusive close-on-time guarantees and refinance transactions in as little as 30 days. Who would have thunk? Guaranteed rates and guaranteed performance from your mortgage lender. Call me, Nelson, an accountable loan expert for nearly 3 decades.